So this needs no introduction. This is Ferrari's new 458 Italia. Now I know I probably shouldn't say this, and it is subjective, but I think it looks absolutely sensational. Let's have a quick chat about some of the details. Really narrow inlets for the radiator, but they've got these wings here which channel the air up onto the radiator. But because you don't need so much cooling at high speed, they deform to reduce the drag. You get air coming in here, and then it's channeled out of here to reduce the lift over the front wheel arch. Big change over the 360 and the 430. There's no inlet on the rear haunch. Instead, the air goes in here to feed the engine, and to cool the engine bay, there's two little ducts under the floor. Around the back, no movable spoiler, just this little lip here. Ferrari says that's enough. And you've got two cooling ducts at the back, one for the clutch and one for the gearbox. And of course, the triple exhaust. Talking of which, let's fire it up. It definitely sounds the part. Let's see how it drives. Okay, so as the name suggests, we've got a 4.5 litre V8 engine producing 562 brake horsepower, which is a pretty big jump up from the old F430 that produced about 490. Torque is also up. We've now got 392 pound-foot. This engine, like the California, has also got direct fuel injection. Now, another piece of technology the 458 shares with the California is a gearbox. This is a twin clutch gearbox, 7 speeds. Now this is crucial because this is the only gearbox that's going to be available on this car. So there's no F1 transmission, and there's going to be no manual option. So the old classic open Ferrari gate, click clack, that's gone, which is a bit sad really. We also need to talk about the cabin here because it's a big step up from the previous generation. I really like the fact that it's all contoured, angled towards the driver, looks really futuristic, but it's also pretty functional because we've got two screens either side of the central dash, one for the sat-nav, which works pretty well, and over here we've got the system that tells us the state of the tyres, the brakes, whether they need to be warmed up or cooled down. Ferrari have also upped the number of controls they've put on the wheel. We've still got the Manettino, but now we've got no traditional indicator stalks there on the wheel, as are the controls for the wiper and lights. It's ambitious, but I think it works. Now, while this engine does share some components with that in the California, don't confuse the two with the same thing. Now, firstly, this is a larger engine, produces more horsepower, but also revs to a much higher rev limit, right up to 9,000 RPM. It's also tuned to produce a much sharper and better engine noise. Just listen to that, it's absolutely amazing! What about the handling? Well, firstly, we've had a variety of road conditions today, and it's brilliant traction in all conditions. Steering, that's much quicker than the previous car, 2 turns lock to lock. Very quick to get into the corner, but good feel. Thirdly, this car feels much stiffer than the previous one. I think it's about 20% stiffer. We've been over some really bumpy roads today, and it feels very rigid. The dampers, as with the 430, are adjustable on the Manettino, but as with the Scuderia, you're able to decouple the suspension from the preset modes, so you can have race for the fastest gear shift, for example, but have the softer suspension for a bumpy road or a certain type of track condition. I mean, the bottom line though is this 458 is just brilliant to drive, whether you're on the road or at the track. I was lucky enough to have a few laps this morning, and it's just great. It's just sensational. I mean, it's got so much information whether you're actually going for an actual lap time, to really feel the balance of the car, and feel the available grip from the steering, or if you just want to do a bit of showboating. Now, the 458 is going to be slightly more expensive than the old F430, about £150,000, but if you ask me, it's worth it. It is a very complete car. Mercedes' new SLS and the new McLaren are going to have to be very good to beat this.